What's up, everybody? I'm back with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 20, reunion part 3. Y'all, before I start, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video I drop. Y'all, make sure we are liking the videos so I can stay in the algorithm of things. Oh yes, and 4 subscribers away from 400. So, you know, let's go ahead and get that up. Also, shout out to all the new subscribers, the people that have been here. Y'all know, of course, thank you. I really hope y'all like my content. I'm still trying to figure out ways to kind of polish myself up, but you know, I don't edit, of course, so everything is just whatever it is, and I've noticed a whole lot. And that's just me always being hard on myself, y'all. So, you know. Anyway, oh, yes, one more thing. You may have seen me pre-record last night, but I had to delete it because I just didn't like the sound of the video. So, I had to do a delete, so now I'm doing it all over again. Anyway, so y'all, reunion part 3, y'all, starts with Porsha and Shamia. Y'all know they still going back and forward. Then they bring up the situation about their moms. So apparently they both shared, there was a daycare and it went into foreclosure. I want to say it was Portia's mom's daycare. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong in my comments. And it went in foreclosure, right? So while it was in foreclosure, Shamia's mom actually purchased the the daycare, and I guess she started running it, and Portia mom didn't know about it until they drove up on it and saw that Shamia's mom had already purchased it. So for me, if you couldn't afford it, you can't afford it. But I do think on Shamia's mom's end, you really should have had a conversation with Portia, with Diane about it. If y'all were still friends. But if y'all wasn't friends, it's not really much to talk about because just based on we're not talking, we're not friends. So anyway, Shamia was like, that's not the real issue. And so Andy was like, well, what is the real issue? Well, of course, they didn't want to discuss the real issue, but the word around the curb is it's solely about a man or something. I don't know. We don't know details, and I'm pretty sure we won't know full details. It seems as though Shamia has gotten her mom's side and Portia has gotten her mom's side, and they both are going to stand by their mom. That's it. So Cynthia decides to pipe up and start talking, and I think for me, I'm really checked out on Cynthia, right? So it's just like, okay, I'm really done. Like, you really don't have nothing to say. I feel like you just talking now just to be talking. I mean, I get what she was saying, but as quiet as you came, and you were supposed to have like 3 or 4, like a half an episode, you can be quiet, right? So Portia said that her and Shamia had a beautiful friendship. She said they had a beautiful friendship before the show. And I'm thinking, what show? Because it definitely wasn't this season. Because y'all friendship has been displayed to be piss poor throughout the years. But if it was beautiful, it was beautiful. Who are we to argue? Alright? So, Shamia then pipes up and says that she shouldn't have never told Drew and Angela what she said about Portia. Now, did Angela go back and tell Portia what Shamia said? Yes, she did. However, you've been on different shows talking to different people about what was happening between you and your friend. And not only that, I want to say Angela, just like everybody else, told her to talk to her friend. You failed to talk to your friend. You cannot place this on these ladies' doorstep. You fail to go to your friend and tell her the issues that you're having with her because you want to people please. Of course, girl, that's not the way. Anyway, Portia then said she always wanted Shamia on a show. Then Portia asked Andy. Andy was like, yeah, Portia always wanted you on the show, but I thought, and that's what I heard, that Candy actually got her, kind of pulled some strings to try to get Shamia on the show as a full-time wife. So, I don't know. Portia could be telling the truth. Again, who am I to debate this? All right. Anyway, Portia, to me, Portia and Shamia's friendship has just, like couples, it just ran its course, and that's what it feels like. It's not the same no more. Probably no matter how much they try to rekindle, it's never going to be the same. But with the two of them and how both of them operate, they're never going to be in a space to want to make it better. Anyway, what's her name? I call her Lady Kia. So Kelly lied and said that, to me, that Portia, she felt like Portia and Shamia had a great friendship. Kelly also wants Shamia to be more honest when it comes to her feelings, and I think as all the ladies want her to be direct when it comes to your feelings. If you're feeling a way, say how you're feeling, but stop telling everybody else. If you're feeling some way about your friend, tell your friend, because you wouldn't have a problem with telling the other ladies how you felt about them, especially Drew. Anyway, Andy asked Cynthia where could Portia and Shamia go, and for me, Cynthia always want to be optimistic even when it's bullshit. And she was like, I feel like they have a lot to work on, and it's like, Cynthia, stop. This friendship is over. I'm sorry. I don't want to seem like I'm that person today, but this friendship is absolutely over. So Portia then says that at this point she's at the bottom, depleted, and she doesn't have anything to offer Shamia. And Portia, I am here to tell you that you have caused your own depletion. You have caused your own bottom of the bottom. Just and karma has stomped the block on you. Let's be clear. All of this is happening because of what you and Simon concocted, and now both of y'all looking stupid. He looking stupid wherever he is, and you sitting here up on the stage looking extra stupid. And I know extra stupid ain't much of a real word, right? So Shamia said, well, listen, there were times where I didn't have the bandwidth to deal with Portia, but I made it my business to make the time. And she said, even being called a lapdog, and then she started pointing at Drew. And I just need Shamia to stop being a doormat for her friend. And not only that, let's talk about, you keep getting mad at Drew for calling you a lapdog, but people have called you a lapdog over the years. I don't understand how you all of a sudden feeling like this is your first time hearing this. You have heard it, because even prior to coming on this show, you sat on your friend's lap, stuck your tongue out, and held your hand in as if you were mocking yourself to be a dog. And then you made some type of caption, something about a lapdog. So yes, you are a lapdog. And even in the way you have operated, Portia can be wrong, right, or indifferent, and you have upheld her behavior. When it became your turn, she never upheld your behavior. In fact, she let her grimy ass friend that's sitting next to her talk cash shit about you. That again, that almost cost your marriage. So it is what it is at this point, girl. Anyway, so we get to the men in the back. Dennis said that he's there to support the baby mama and Drew. Drew at this point looks pissed. Like, I'm gonna just keep pointing that out, how pissed off Drew looks. Because of course, her stupid ass baby husband is there, right? So we get in a montage of Drew's divorce, and Andy asks, like, how are the kids doing? Drew said that their kids are in therapy. She thought what was happening prior to her mom speaking up about it, she thought that what was happening in her home with her kids was normal and that they was just acting out. And I wish y'all could have paid attention to it more, but sometimes it could be hard when you in your own stuff, but at the same time you still have to try to fight because you still have kids and you have to really take care of their well-being, you know. Anyway, Drew said they asked about the Memorial Day event where Ralph fed her the steak, right? And she said that that was them just co-parenting, and somehow, some way, Ralph made a way to smear that moment. Anyway, somebody asked about their court documents, and Drew said that the court documents are normal, and Portia also confirmed because she said when her and Cordell was living together, he had to live downstairs, and I want to say she had to live upstairs. So then we find out that Ralph have basement holes, right? And so this woman, this same basement hole, decided to approach Drew at a PTA meeting and was asking her what's her name. It was just some stupid shit. And it's like, really, Ralph? Like, why would you, first of all, why would you bring a woman in the basement? Because let's be clear, if the roles were reversed, and if Drew, even though she said the man black is her friend or even Ty, if she entertained those people in her bedroom, you will really feel away. You will probably have it on camera. You probably have some hidden camera in there, and you will probably smear her and post it all over the internet. But it's okay for you to bring a basement hole through your basement. That is not okay. And if you want to do that, the most respectable thing you should do is pack your bags and find your own place. It's just as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. But of course, Ralph wants to make her life as miserable as he is, right? So, the question was asked to the ladies, for the exception of Angela, why is it that everybody was not supportive of Drew while she was going through her divorce, but then everybody rallied around Portia? And let me throw this in, even Kelly, as it relates to their divorce. The one thing I did not like is that everybody didn't answer the question. Everybody should have went around and answered that question. Not really Cynthia, because I see her talk to Cynthia in that when they went to Granada, I want to say her and Cynthia had conversations. And so Kelly turned to what's her name, Drew, and said she was hoping they could have hit it off more. Kelly, you are lying. You wasn't trying. I'm with Drew when she said, yeah, no, you wasn't. Drew said Kelly didn't give me a chance to get to know her, and Kelly was like, and she was like, you kept looking at me as just a liar. And so Kelly was like, listen, I considered you a liar because we were at the Balmain event and you didn't buy anything. Again, that's still not enough to want to dislike her. Again, y'all formed an alliance to come after Angela and to come after Drew. And that's just what it was. And the only reason y'all came after Drew is because Portia had this beef with her. But y'all thought y'all was going to be long-standing friends. And y'all thought that, y'all was going to get them. Right? That's what that was about. That shit backfired. And I'm glad it did. And so Drew was like, listen, I purchased something. I just didn't purchase it at the Balmain event. And Shamia was like, well, it was a charity, so anything you purchased there the proceeds was supposed to go to charity. So Drew was like, well, Kelly, if you would have told me that, then maybe I would have done something else. But at the end of the day, if the girl says she purchased it, then she purchased it. All right. So Andy asked her if she was Michael Jordan's cousin. She said in her head, that's her cousin. But Drew said she was joking. And I'm just like, y'all can't take a joke. Like, it is what it is. Anyway, so then we get to the PJ going to college comment that Drew made, paying for her college tuition. Shamia twisting Drew words were annoying AF, right? So Portia said that she was mad the way it was told to her. So then Shamia set her grown ass up on that stage and said, well, I guess I'm just gonna mind my business. I was like, Shamia, you look like a duck. If I ever seen one, you look like a damn duck. So Drew looked at Shamia and said, yeah, you should. When I tell y'all, between Drew, Angela, and her husband, they was clearing everybody. So anyway, we talked about, Andy asked Shamia, why would you invite Ralph to meet with Portia, right? And so I think the other question was asked, like, no. Then we talked about Ralph meeting with Shamia and Portia. Drew tells Portia that basically y'all laughed with somebody who publicly humiliated me, and Portia, I have came to your party, I have cried with you about Ralph, like you knew how he was operating. Portia's big head ass just sat on that stage and said, oh, I thought this was fake. No, what you and your husband have is some fake fraudulent shit. That's what's fake. Okay. Drew was like, Portia, at this point you're not even using your brain. And so Portia was like, well, I can't keep up with the lies between y'all two. And it's just like, Portia, you know this girl wasn't even lying about this. But you can sit on the same stage and not give anything about your scamming ass, which makes him a liar, your scamming ass, cheating ass, hood rat ass African husband. Period. Anyway, the other question was still about meeting up with Ralph. Why did Shamia set the meeting up? Right? And oh yes, somebody asked Shamia, why would you set that meeting up? You don't want to be called the lapdog, but what you did was lapdog behavior. So Shamia said she agreed and said yes, this was lapdog behavior because Drew is always calling me a lapdog. And it's like, once again, Shamia, you keep trying to make it seem like this lady over here is the reason you're being called a lapdog and not your actions. It's your actions that have people calling you a lapdog. She is not the only one. But you keep trying to have this beef with her. Like, I don't understand. And then you're carrying on a beef that's not even yours at this point. But you've manifested, and now it's your beef, not Drew's, but yours. Anyway, Shamia said, Drew called her a lapdog the whole season. Angela was like, Shamia, girl, you need to let that go. And so she said Drew kept saying it, and she was like, I was just being a loyal friend, like you were being to Drew. And Angela said, baby, I'm too big to sit on somebody's lap, girl. So the question was to Drew, like, are you still keeping in communication with Ty? Because apparently y'all have 3,000 text messages out there. 3,000 minutes of text messages out there. Like, does it even matter? Because she's single. Like, she's married, but her wayward, rockhead ass husband, he doesn't even matter. Like, this lady at this point is she have a ring on her finger. The legality says she's married, but actually she's a single married woman. And so she said that her entire friends, and I'm pretty sure, I will say this, I'm pretty sure that she let Ty licky licky, and that's fine. That is fine. And for me, if I was Drew, if I chose not to put my business out to none of you batches, then you know what, y'all don't get that. So then, Andy asked her, who's black? And so she was like, Black is my friend. I need to see who Black is. Like, I need to go. I don't know his real name. I'm just going to type in Drew and Black and see who this man is, because I need to know. And so Drew got up, passed out his hookahs, because he created his own style of hookahs, and he passed it out to the ladies. And I was like, Drew, girl, I'm gonna put his stuff out there and not on the stage like that. But hey, if he supported you and you want to support him, then that is fine, right? So then we have Ralph, Dennis, and Ralph, Dennis, and Charles come out. So when I saw Ralph, I immediately rolled my eyes. Okay. And so Andy asked Shamia, hey, where's Gerald? Shamia said Gerald is home with the kids. And so Andy was like, well, Gerald couldn't find a babysitter. And so she was like, well, like, he's not with it. And I'm just looking at Shamia like, is Juan gonna be here? Is Jamal in your phone? Like, he don't want you on his show. He is not supportive. But when it comes to you and his baby, you want to support him to no end. And so, and I don't have a problem with you supporting your husband, but the way you keep talking how you want to support him and have all of these babies, have this son for him, you want to do all of these things for him, but he can't come sit behind you at the reunion. Another small thing, right? He gives me very problematic, but he try to be the cool husband, try to be so cool behind the scenes. Make me feel like, girl, are you really going through it in that house? Because the one thing Shamia said in the beginning of her season is how she had a lot of support with her family. And I'm not sure if the reunion was out in Atlanta or New York or wherever they normally have their reunions. But if it was in Atlanta and y'all knew y'all had a babysitter and he just didn't want to come, he ought to be ashamed of himself. That's my personal opinion. And that's it. So Charles was like, listen, I'm here to support my wife. Right? And so the question was asked to Dennis. Dennis, did you talk to Portia about working with Drew? He said he had a little chit chat. Basically, he had a chit chat with Portia. And so he said, but I did talk to Ralph because Ralph is my boy. Ralph is not Drew's maker. Or am I saying that right? Am I saying that wrong? Like, but I get it. And I guess everybody felt like, hey, she should have talked to Portia. And for me, girl, I don't give a good goddamn. I'm not talking to you about nothing when it comes to my money. Girl, I don't owe you nothing. All we doing is working together. Sorry, y'all. I just don't like or respect Portia. Like, she is not a favorite of mine. And honestly, if Portia, like, I always say, even if I don't like you, I will always take up for you. I don't like people being done wrong. But in this case, yeah, I know everybody probably said that Drew should have followed up with Portia. And girl, if I'm calling you or whatever and you're not answering me, because this needs to be a conversation, so I'm going to give you the respect and call your whack ass. And if you don't answer, girl, it's up and it's stuck and it's fuck you and your mama. Anyway, so Dennis, the next question was asked about the comment about Drew screwing for beats. Dennis said basically that text was taken out of context, right? I saw the text. Everybody saw the text. And I mean, they read the text and I felt like it was taken out of context. I felt like Portia used it to cause more drama. Like, you try to use it to cause more drama to make it seem like this lady was being a hoe. And then you showed it to Ralph. And Ralph's so damn ignorant that no matter what, because he hate this woman, he's gonna take the bait anyway. Anything to make Drew look bad, he's all down for it. So Dennis said that Ralph is his friend in real life, and said Ralph then said that Drew told him that Dennis was trying to sleep with her. And Drew was like, I did not. Why are you lying? Ralph is a liar. Like, so Drew told him, listen, you up here with all your white on, coming on the cameras, basically trying to put on, but every time you come on the show, all you do is lie. All you do is lie on me. And so then you want to turn around, after you lie on me, you want to turn around and play victim as he did right after this. She said it's weird, bro, right? So he gonna say, you know, I love you, and oh no, I'm sorry. He said, you know, I don't understand all this energy. And so Drew was like, you gonna get all this smoke, period. And I was here for Drew. I was here for all of that. Like, there is no way, y'all. I always say pressure bust pipes, because this man was putting her through it. Then you have to come with these pack of bitches, and these pack of bitches are trying to put me through it too. So everybody finna get it. So Dennis said, you know, the question was asked about how did he feel about Portia and Shamir's friendship. He said, we are family. I'm cool with Gerald. He said, but I stay out of it because tomorrow they can be best friends again. Right? That was that. So he said that he did go out on a date a long time ago with Britt, but that was before Portia. And so I guess him and Kelly talked on the phone once or twice. It wasn't nothing there. It is what it is. So Andy asked Ralph about the woman, the basement hoe, right? So he said that wasn't true. But then he said she would come and visit, but she would wait outside. And if I was that basement hoe and I was watching this, you should feel like a dumbass. Like, the way he downplaying you on national TV, even though we don't know who you are, and that's fine. But the fact that you're opening your legs downstairs in another woman's house while she's probably there with her kids, you should feel stupid as, like, you really should feel stupid. Even watching as a back looking at it, you should feel dumb. Anyway, he tells Drew, you know, I still love, just at this point, this is typical Ralph gaslighting. So he was like, you know, I love you and I'm not your enemy. At this point, Drew was like, this nigga still niggering. So Ralph was full of shit. Drew was like, listen, I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're saying, but action's gonna have to follow it. Drew, I'm sorry. You were supposed to cuss him out, because ain't no way. I have nothing to say to you. This entire time, Drew's face was, you could visibly see that she was really pissed off. She was pissed off, and I don't know who she was pissed off at. She probably was pissed off at these hoes, and especially pissed off at him. So, you know, we get to Charles and Angela. Charles was like, you know, Angela did great, and they asked Charles, like, you were holding back on your affections with Angela. So Charles was like, listen, I ain't putting on for nobody when cameras are around. I am who I am. Either take it or leave it. He didn't say all of that, but I'm just kind of paraphrasing, right? And so he was like, I'm sitting here hearing how everyone's saying that they know him, that they met him, and he was like, they did not, right? So Shamia was like, well, I know you. I met you at, that's what Shamia said. He was like, but I don't know you. You don't know me. You saw me, but you don't know me. When I tell you, at this point, Shamia's scalp should be as red as this airhead paper. Sorry, y'all. It should be red as this airhead paper because everybody's been dragging her by her scalp, by the roots, okay, and slinging her all over the place. All right. So Shamia said the comment that she made about Charles, talking about him not being married, or she didn't know he was married. She said that wasn't a dig to Angela. Angela was like, it was, and that's how I felt because that's all y'all talked about the whole season. So to come up here and act like, oh, we didn't mean nothing by that, we wasn't trying to be shady, that's bullshit. Y'all absolutely was trying to be shady. Like, stand on it. If you say you said that shit, stand on it. It is what it is. So Andy asked Charles if he knew Phaedra. He said no, flat out no. So Phaedra said, I've been in several rooms with you. And Charles said, that's not meeting me. And so she said, well, I know Sheree very well. And so Angela said, Phaedra kept saying, him didn't know him being married and all of that was her being shady. And y'all already know Phaedra is a liar. She got up on that stage, lied again, and said, I wasn't trying to be shady. Phaedra, you must think we got Boo Boo the Fool written across our foreheads, right? That's right. That's what she think. She think me, you, and Mama do. We all have Boo Boo the Fool written across our forehead. Anyway, so it was the way Charles had Phaedra stirring, and she was like, I was. I was looking at her. I was like, this hoe been popping her mouth in the confessional for her whole 2 weeks. As soon as she came on, this hoe was popping that mouth. And now you can't get a word to come out your mouth, huh? Yeah, whatever, Phaedra. You ain't shit. You ain't never been shit. You ain't gonna be shit. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean that like that. But she's just an ain't shit person. She's just an ain't shit person. Okay? And that's what it is. So Charles was like, why am I the conversational piece? Why the fact that if I'm married or not, why is that a conversational piece? He then said, why y'all want to know about me? And so he was like, what about y'all? Like, I'm the only husband here. Where y'all husbands at? Portia was like, Y'all, Portia absolutely make me sick, but she made me laugh at this. Because, let's be clear, she do not know where her husband is. And Drew gotta have her husband sitting over there because he ain't shit. He ain't nothing. Right? So then they asked, when did he meet Sheree? I'm gonna say it was between 2005, 2007. That was a long time ago. He said they went on trips. He took her to Dubai. He flew her out, flew her in, sucked, slurped, and did all of the things. Alright? It's none of our business. That was way before Angela. It doesn't even matter at this point. So then they clear up the whole Wendy situation where Wendy said that Charles Oakley had an outside baby, but it was Wendy's daughter dad that had the outside baby on her. Tell us about that baby though. So then Andy was like, listen, before I let the fellas go, do anybody have any last words? So Kelly asked Ralph, what did my ex say about me? He said that he only talked about the circumstances of y'all divorce. Ralph is trifling. So Kelly then tells Drew that I think it's amazing that you still have a man and a husband who wants to take care of his kids. And I was just looking at Drew's face. It was very priceless. And she tells Ralph that he is a stand-up guy. And I just want to let y'all know that Ralph is not a stand-up guy. Any man that will come on a platform, Martell Holt, that will come on a platform and figure out a way every chance he get to embarrass the mother of his kids, his still wife. You ain't shit as a person, you ain't shit as a husband, and you ain't shit as a father, because your kids are seeing that. JoJo is seeing that, even though JoJo's not his dad, but JoJo is seeing that. You don't sit behind her in support of her. Even if y'all going through a divorce, it's a way to go through it in a more cohesive and positive way. No, you decide to take the chaotic route. You decide to take the most embarrassing route. Why? Because you're jealous and you hate this woman. And I just don't understand. Ralph is not a good person. He will never be a good person in my book. You will have gone out of your way. And that's what I was saying. So you don't sit behind the woman. You sit across from her with the op, because you are her op. I would never trust Ralph. I would never trust Ralph. I would never trust Ralph in any capacity of my life. Even in my kids' life. I would never trust him. Because I will always think that you're telling them something negative about me. Like, I cannot wait for Drew to really sever ties away from him and just really work on her. Ralph is a terrible person. He is a manipulator. He is a gaslighter. And I'm pretty sure there are women probably in his DMs throwing their draws to him. Good luck with that. And then, let me tell y'all what pissed me off even more. When the women were clapping for him and was giving him these accolades as if he's that guy, after this lady has shared with some of y'all how horrible he has been. But you have seen it over the years. Let's be clear. Let's start with last reunion, because Kenya had stepped in for Drew and was telling Ralph, like, hey, your behavior that you're displaying, I don't know if at the reunion or in one of the scenes, but the behavior he's displaying with Drew is wrong. I don't understand. And I would have been so pissed off that these hoes would have never been able to say a whole ass thing to me. Like, y'all would have never been able to say a whole ass thing to me as it relates to you bitches sitting up here clapping for this nigga who trying to make my life a living hell. Like, when I tell y'all, it is a spot in hell next to Ralph. Like, when I tell you Karma is a fat bitch and will definitely spin the block. And I'm not putting nobody out there. I'm not manifesting anything, because, this is the most powerful weapon. But for everything you've done to that woman, I hope you don't expect your life to just be good. I just wish I did say this. I wish I can hug Drew, because there was a moment where I was looking at her and she looked like she wanted to cry, right? And so, but she looked like she was also holding it back. So for me, I want absolutely great for her, as we seeing her go up, and even how the way she handled these ladies. I feel like Angela was the MVP this entire season. Drew came in second, and that was it. Drew was vindicated. That's all I'ma say. Andy, do a recap with the ladies. We grabbed the fans. Andy was where them fans at, flat, flat, flat. He was definitely off key. And then he went down and started twerking. I don't know what Andy was doing with them knees and that fan, but when I watched it, I thought it was cringy. Y'all, I am so glad the season is over. I saw the video with Shamia, a little clip of the video of Shamia apologizing. She looks stupid. She's stupid. Come back, do better. All right. Apparently Kenya isn't returning, and they're bringing on 2 new housewives. I don't know how true it is, but it possibly K Michelle and the girl who owned the Pinky something. I think she was on that last Carlos King show. I forgot the name of that show. But it came out last year, I want to say. I think that's where I remember her from. But she has her own food products, and I want to say she has a restaurant as well. Oh, no, I'm lying. This is the lady that have slutty vegan. Yeah, they say this is the lady that have the slutty vegan. So we will see. It is going to be probably a while before we get something on Sundays with Bravo. Yeah. And I thought the season was good. I wish Kenya and Britt Edie would have been able to be there. There was no way Kenya should have gotten fired. That is something that they've been wanting to do. It's unfortunate. I wish Kenya all the best. This is just her season. Her season is up here, but I hope she goes up from there. You know what I mean? It was very lighthearted. It was funny. The one thing I will say, y'all, is from episode 1, I clocked Kelly. I did not like her. I thought she was fake, and she has shown herself to be fake. Shamia came in strong, but she lost us. She came in weak. She ended on this weak ass note. All right. Portia, the return of Portia and whoever is frick and whoever is frack was whack. Angela was, of course, our star MVP, and Drew was runner up. Drew ate everybody so eloquently. You know, I get it. Everybody used to say Drew a liar. It's not more than what everybody else on here said on the stage and lied about, but she lied about little stuff, and a lie is a lie. You can't, a lie is a lie. But I will say this: Drew did not come in hot. If she needs to clear you, she cleared you, but she didn't let you hoes play with her. And I was really proud of Drew for standing up for herself. Anyway, that is it. Y'all catch me on my weekly go rounds. And I will see y'all tomorrow for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, because Next Gen NYC went off. Yeah. So just Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all be good. And yeah. Bye.